Hey there everyone, friendly Neighborhood Webhead here with another video directed at all of you guys and gals. And, well, now I just want to take a moment to talk about the latest episode from RoosterTeeth series, Rwby. Because yes, I happen to be a fan of that show, and I've been following it since its premiere way back in 2012-2013. So I've been a fan since Volume 1. Heck, since the trailers, since the individual trailers for each of the main characters. So yesterday, last night, I saw the latest episode in which the genie from the Relic of Knowledge was telling the girls, like the cast, about Ozpin's secret. And boy, was it a whopper of a secret. Like, a spoiler alert for those who haven't watched the episode, but I definitely need to share my thoughts on this episode. And I want to start off by saying that this is probably one of the best episodes I have seen in the entire series. And that is saying something, because this series has had a lot of memorable episodes and a lot of memorable battles. And that's the crazy part, like, this episode was completely expository. It was just like laying out exposition, laying out some epic, heavy backstory, and it wasn't really all focused on action. It was just focused on world building and character development. Like with the beings, the Brothers Grimm, the light and the darkness, those that are being the core aspects of the world, and then that humans back in the day could be able to use magic freely, and that they didn't need the crystals, the dust crystals in order to be able to wield magic. Like, they had it on their own. And all of this exposition, it was definitely eye-opening and crazy. And we already had a semblance of an idea of who Ozpin was. Like, there was already a very good guess that he could reincarnate, and that he had already been reincarnated multiple times. But this backstory really delved into who he was, and he's actually Ozma, and he's this righteous hero of justice who has existed since pretty much the dawn of time. And this whole thing falls back on Salem. And I remember in earlier seasons, in earlier volumes, when Salem had been ranting on how she was going to make Ozpin pay, and I'm like, back in the day, I was like, oh, well, that's just like, your typical villain speech, your typical villain line, like, oh, I'm gonna get you back for what you did to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess that's that. But this episode really shows you why. It really shows you why she just, has this hate for Ozpin. And it just really goes into detail about how they knew each other, and that they actually fell for each other. And out of everything, the thing is that drove Salem to where she ended up being is because she wanted to bring Ozpin back to life, because he died of sickness. And Salem implored the being of light to bring him back, but the whole thing about bringing people back to life, that was a big no-no, because life and death, it's a cycle, a balance that must be kept, because you can't put things out of the natural order. But then she goes to the being of darkness and destruction, and he does the deed. But then there's this dispute about how this cannot come to pass, and Salem snaps. Like, when she sees that Ozma is gone for good, that's when things get crazy. She gets cursed with eternity, and then what she does is that she rallies humans to her side, and she rallies them all together to fight against these gods, to rebel against them. And then, like, the gods, they're not happy about this. And then the god of destruction, he's like, well, I gave you this gift, and now you're just taking it for granted. So he wipes out humanity in one fell swoop. And then Salem is left alone. She's literally the only human left alive in the world. And then the gods, they just vanish. They just disappear from the face of the planet. And we finally get to see why the moon was fractured into pieces the way we have always seen the moon fractured since the beginning of the series. Now we finally know why. And it was oh so epic and oh so unexpected. And when I saw that, I'm like, yo, I can't believe this actually connects to that. And I mean, at the end of it all, Salem just wanted to kill herself. She's like, I can't go on like this. And she went to the place where the god of destruction used to be, the god of chaos, and instead of dying, she was just imbued with darkness, and, well, that's basically all she wrote. But then as humanity started to come back, Ozpin, or, well, Ozma, he was brought back by the gods to be able to kind of be like this covenant, to be kind of like this personal errand boy to subdue Salem, to stop her, and to prepare the world for judgment, so that, you know, if humans can be redeemed, the gods will return and live among them. Like, I got some real Second Coming vibes out of all this, and it was like, whoa, that was pretty intense stuff. But then, like, when Ozma saw Salem again, and, well, you know, they caught up, and they eventually had a family, but then all that went to shit, because as soon as Ozma told Salem everything, and she got pissed, and then from what we saw, the battle they had, their kids were history, and basically, like, it was just now Ozma's destiny to face Salem and destroy her. And that's been his curse, that's been his burden ever since, and he has not been able to make do with it because he cannot destroy her. And now he's trying to gather all the relics in the hopes that he can be able to finally do what he couldn't do all those other lives back. And I gotta say, this was really, really something. This was one hell of an episode, and I loved the imagery and the cinematography and the way the episode was structured. It was just beautiful stuff, and it's probably one of the most amazing episodes I've seen in the series, and I just can't wait to see how everyone's going to react to Ozpin now. Yes, now with all this new knowledge, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen now when it comes to Ozpin and how the girls perceive him, and I think even Crow's gonna be taken aback, because I don't think even Crow knew this much about Ozpin's past, and now we can really sympathize with Salem. We can sympathize and, well, still have some sort of, you know, enmity towards her, but at the same time, you can't help but feel bad for her, because all this was because she wanted to have Ozpin by her side, and, you know, it was sad. It was messed up. But yes, what did you all think of this episode? I, for one, thought it was amazing, and like I've said for like the third, fourth time in this video, the best episode I've seen in the Rwby series. But yes, let me know what you all thought, and if you like this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Anyways, this has been Friendly Neighborhood Webhead, signing out.